Hey friends, this is LaughNapkin. I'm so happy to see that we're almost at 100 subscribers. You guys are awesome. Today I bring you two juicy stories from r/Prorevenge. The first story is about two jerks that refuse to pay for their train ride, and then the conductor gets sweet revenge like you wouldn't believe. The second story is about a girl that was using a guy for his money, and this dude gets her back in the best way. I also included a bonus story at the end for those that stick around. Let's get to it. Young and rude adults refuse to pay for public transport, but oh, sweet revenge at the end of the story. I work as a train driver. I drive smaller trains mostly out of the countryside, and people are generally nice and well behaved. But of course there are also the alcoholics, drug addicts, and general weirdos that use public transport. And also some people that live just to be a pain in the A. This was a few years ago. We were traveling in the late afternoon and my conductor storms into the driver's cabin, angry and annoyed, and tells me, "We have two rude, good-for-nothing guys on board and they're such a-holes." I ask, what did they do? She says they have no tickets, refuse to pay, just laugh up in my face and are saying, "What are you gonna do about it?" I say, "What the hell? Should I help you throw them off at the next stop?" She says we can't because they're just traveling one station, so they're getting off at the next stop. Gosh dang smug guys with their "what are you gonna do about it?" So we're both angry now. I let the conductor rant and let off some steam. Next stop comes and the guys get off. The conductor angrily gestures at them. "That's them, effers." We continue the short remaining journey and have a break at the end station. Some hours later, the train then goes back. Since it's on the countryside and it's a late weekend evening, the train is almost empty on the way back. The conductor knows where every passenger on board is getting off, and she's up at front with me, chatting and all is fine again. Until we approach the station where we let those guys off. We see two people standing there. It is them. My conductor beside me shines up like a gosh dang sun. She says with the biggest smile on her face, "Do not stop." And I'm just laughing, slowing down the train, not stopping though. When we pass them, my conductor opens the window, waves, and says loud and happily, "This is what I'm gonna do about it." These guys are just staring at her with their jaws on the ground when we drive past them. We laugh all the way to our home station. We were the last train for the day. Pretend you like me to get taken out on expensive dates? I'll trick you into paying. For context, my family is in a very fortunate position financially. I would describe myself as upper middle class. This story happened a few years ago when I was at a university. It was a fairly small university, so many of the students lived locally in a generally very working class area. I also have a twin brother who goes to a different university nearby. He has a small part to play in this story. I had never really had much luck with dating due to having some pretty niche hobbies and interests, so it was hard to find people I can relate to and really click with. But I would always get on and remain friends with people if things didn't work out. I ended up dating a few girls on the uni netball team. They all seemed nice, but again, it was clear we were not a great match. Because I stayed on good terms with everyone, I ended up spending a lot of time around the people I had previously dated, but just as friends. Consequently, most people on the netball team were familiar with me. Enter the greedy girl, Gigi. She was a bit of an outlier on the team and didn't speak much, so nobody knew much about her. One day she comes up to me and asks me out on the dates. This was a nice surprise as I was normally the one asking. So I said yes, and I had no reason to dislike her at this point. After I said yes, we chat for a bit and she keeps trying to shoehorn into the conversation the fact that she, like many others around here, doesn't have a lot of money. I didn't really think about it too much at the time, but in hindsight, it was obvious. To keep the story short, I won't explain the dates. We went on 3 before I realized how greedy she was. All you guys need to know is that I paid for everything on every date, but I didn't mind doing this. We normally went out on weekends. One day, I went to the library to get some work done. The desks have tall partitions between them for independent work, but whispering was still allowed in this area. Over the partition in front of me, I hear Gigi's voice whispering to her friend. I begin to stand up to say hi, but stop myself to listen to their conversation just before my head emerged over the top. She was talking about me, calling me things like a posh C, but saying she was gonna let me take her on a few more dates because I took her to fancy bars and bought her expensive drinks. I thought about it and I realized that she had always gone for the most expensive drinks on our dates so far. So I decided it was time for some revenge. I left the library without being seen. A few days later, I actually saw her driving a brand new BMW Z4. So she was clearly pretty damn rich herself. The best and fanciest bar in town was owned by my best friend and her family. It was a small bar, but very high end, with some of the drinks being over 15 for a very small drink. Therefore, not many of the students went in. But if you were invited there on a date, it was a special one. I spoke to my friend, whose family owned the bar, and got her in on my plan for revenge, ensuring she would have my back if things went wrong. I was pretty paranoid about getting caught, because I planned on tricking Gigi into paying for everything that night, up to a total cost of all the previous dates combined, in excess of $250. To cover my tracks, I asked my twin brother if he wanted to go out with my friends to the pub, telling him my plan and that I would give him some money if he went out dressed like me with his hairstyle the same. I also told him to take plenty of pictures with my friends so I had an alibi. The night of the date came around. The bar was pretty busy, but we managed to get a table. I immediately lied to her, saying that I had forgotten my card, but if she paid, I can transfer her the money later. She agreed. I had done this for real on the second date and paid her back as soon as I got home, so she knew I was reliable. I told her to stay seated and save the table while I went and ordered the drinks and the biggest and fanciest tapas plate on the menu from the bar. My friend, pretending she didn't know me, as agreed, served me the drinks. Gigi seemed to be in disbelief at my generosity and pretended that she was having one of the best days of her life. I also pretended to be enjoying it, continuing to buy expensive food and drink until I had nearly spent the target $250 on her card. The dessert section of the bar's menu was titled Just Desserts. Finding this oddly appropriate for my revenge, I asked her if she wanted her just desserts, pointing at the menu. She laughed and said yes. So I went up to the bar once again with her card and ordered 2 of the super deluxe chocolate fudge cakes. I told my friend to keep one for herself for when her shift ends. I then returned to Gigi, handed her card back, and told her I was going to the gentleman's bathroom. I left, never repaid the money, and went to join my mates and brother at the bar. Gigi confronted me in front of the netball team a few days later, but I just acted confused, telling her I was out with my friends that night. I showed her the selfies my brother had taken with my mates when she tried to argue with me. The entire netball team took my side and stopped speaking to her. Gigi has since left the netball team, and from what I can tell, I don't think she has many friends now. I had a fantastic night of revenge, with fine food and drink at her expense. My friend got a fudge cake, my brother got some money, and all the lads got to go to the pub. All in all, I found it super satisfying and everyone but Gigi was happy. Take my dog away from me, I'll take your children away from you. This takes place in 2016. I bought my first apartment when it was 2015 and everything was nice. Park was close, neighbors were very nice, except for one family. When I moved in, they saw me outside one day and invited me over. They offered me cake and coffee, and they seemed like pretty nice people, but they abused their children. I could hear them screaming every day, every single day. I didn't say anything because I don't have kids and I don't really know how to parent yet. I have a good job and overall a good life. I've even adopted a super cute breed of dachshund and another dog I don't know about. His name is Ronnie. I was walking Ronnie, just coming from the park. Keep in mind, I'm a huge dog person. Seeing any dog get hurt breaks my heart because they give you so much love and you as an owner are everything to them, and they for you are just a pet. Ronnie for me is everything. I don't know what I would do if I lost him. So back to the story. I saw the neighbor come and she waved. I waved back. She got closer and a conversation started. This conversation is very important. It's where all of it started. I can't remember it very well, but I'll assume some last words. Neighbor asked me, "He is adorable. Boy or girl?" I say, "He's a boy," smiling. She says, "And what breed is he? He looks like one of those black long dogs." I say, "Yes, he's a dachshund. A mix between two different breeds, actually." The conversation went on and we were walking. It was slippery as hell, the winters in Finland. We were talking until I slipped. I slipped and accidentally kicked Ronnie in his chest. I don't know what went through this crazy effing bee, but she took my dog, ran into her house, and the next thing I know, I'm at her door begging, pounding. She had called police and animal protection services. I went to her door. I was there for nearly an hour, I think, until I went back to my door. I got in, called my parents. They told me to wait until tomorrow, so my dumb A did. I know what you're thinking. Where's the revenge? It's coming right up, sir. I won't bore you anymore. I lost my dog. He was taken from me, and I was planning my effing revenge. So I thought, they take from me, I'll take from them. Remember how I said they abused their children? I saw the daughter with a blue eye and got a picture. I also recorded the screaming through this mic I used. You could hear every word. It went from "Who the F do you think you are" talking back to us, which followed with a slap. After a week of gathering evidence, I went to CPS in some office. I showed them the evidence. They went to a different room and came back saying, "We will handle this. Clearly, child abuse is going on. Thank you for reporting this." Police and some fancy people showed up one day. I heard the screams from the corridor. I heard the pounding at my door a day later. I heard screaming and begging. That didn't affect me. Last year, January 14th, I got Ronnie back from this wonderful elderly couple who took care of him. Apparently, my story made more sense about what happened to the dog, and I still regret nothing. I'm not sure what happened to them. I never really saw them again. My family thinks I went too far, so we don't really bring it up. I hope that bee lives a sad life, just like me when I lost Ronnie.